Hey kiddos, today we are going to be talking about decimals. Decimals are a lot like fractions in the sense that when we have a decimal in a number, it means that that number has been broken up into pieces and then we're missing some of those pieces. We don't have a whole. So let's take a look at what a decimal number might look like. So when we look at a decimal number, any of the numbers that come before the decimal, like in this example are 2, are whole numbers. So in this example, we might have 2 full pizzas with none of the slices taken out yet. The numbers that follow after the decimal are the number of pieces that we have left of the next whole. So in this example, we had a third pizza, but some people took some pieces out of it, and now we only have 5 of those pieces. The only tricky thing is that in fractions, our denominator will tell us how many slices the pizza had been split into. So we know we would have 5 out of the 10 pieces or the 12 pieces that the pizza was cut into. In a decimal, it doesn't tell us underneath, so that's where place value is going to be really important. We already know our place value of whole numbers. We know that this is the tens place. We know this is the ones place. And we know if we continue that way, we would have the hundreds place and the thousands place, and we would continue on forward. But when we go back, we're not quite sure what those are yet, so we're going to learn them right now. This place, the first number after our decimal point, is always going to be the tenths place. Tenths. That means that if there's a number in this place, the next whole number in your number was broken into 10 small pieces. We call those tenths. The next number after the decimal point, so we've got 1, which is the tenths place, 2, this is the hundredths place. Now you may notice these are very similar to our place values on the other side of the decimal, but there's one really important difference, and that's the THS at the end. These are pieces of a whole, so they're tenths and hundredths, not tens and hundreds. I know they sound very similar, but they're very different things. So let's take a look at a few examples, and we'll draw some diagrams that'll help us visualize what these numbers mean. So we're back to our original number of 2.5. So we know that the numbers that come before the decimal place are our whole pieces. So in this instance, we're going to say pizzas. We have 2 full pizzas. Totally full, no one's eaten any of it yet. Now we have the decimal place. That means that what comes next aren't whole numbers. They're not whole pieces. They've been broken up and some of the pieces are missing. We see that we've got one number after the decimal place, which means we are in the tenths, which means that this pizza has been broken into 10 pieces. Okay, so my pizza has been broken into 10 pieces, and I know that I have 5 of them because I have 5 tenths. So I'll go ahead and color that in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 2.5, or 2 and 5 tenths. Let's try another one. So now we have 3.1. Again, we know that the numbers on that side of the decimal place mean our whole pieces, and this time, let's say they're pies. We've got 3 whole pies. Then we have the decimal place, which means anything that follows is something that's been broken up into many different pieces, and we are missing some of those pieces. So decimal 1, again, the first place value after the decimal point is the tenths, which means it's been broken into 10 pieces. So there's the pie, break it into 10 pieces. Okay, so it's got 10 pieces. We've got 1 of the 10 and the 3 wholes. We've got 3.1 or 3 and 1/10. Okay, so what happens when we have two numbers after the decimal point? Okay, so in this example, we have 1.15 or 1.15. That means we've got our 1 whole decimal. Now, it hasn't just been broken into tenths anymore because we've got something in the tenths that's true, but it extends out into our hundredths. That means that this thing has been broken into 100 pieces and that we have 15 of them. Now, I'm not going to draw a circle that's been broken into 100 pieces because I don't think that I could do that. But I want you to just imagine that this circle has been broken into 100 pieces and that we colored 15 little bars in it. It'd be pretty tough to draw. One really important thing to remember when you're dealing with decimals is that even if the number after the decimal seems like it's bigger, for example, 15 is typically bigger than 5. However, if it's after a decimal point, you need to remember that that means that we've broken that one thing into more pieces. It's important to know that the more numbers that are after the decimal, the smaller the pieces. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to put a few decimal numbers on the board and I'm just going to ask you some questions about them. You can pause this video to answer, but I don't think you're going to need to. Okay, so here is our first decimal number. We have 3.41. So my first question to you is, was our fourth piece that got broken up broken into tenths or hundredths? Right, it was broken into hundredths because it goes into the second place value. What number is in the tenths spot? That's right, the 4 is in the tenths spot because it's the first number after the decimal, tenths. What number is in the ones spot? The 3. I tried to trick you with that one. We already know that this is a ones in our place value. We've known that forever. That means that we have the 1 left. What is the 1? What spot is it in? What's its place value? Right, hundredths. Okay, we have a much larger decimal number now. We have 152.71. So, what number is in the tens spot? Right, the 5. Tens with an S is that regular place value that we've known for a long time. What number is in the tenths spot? The 7, the first one after the decimal point. What about the hundredths spot? Right on, the 1, it's the second one after the decimal, hundredths. What about the hundreds spot? That's the 1. Then we've just got one place value left, which is the ones. Okay, so now I'm going to send you down below where there's a Google form linked to this assignment, and it's going to ask you some place value questions, like what we just did. So good luck, have fun, and have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye!